Let's go over another flow control statement. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a Java, what's called a switch case. Now, a switch case, in other languages, it's called a choose case because it's actually you're choosing a specific value and you're branching your code based on the specific value. Now, it works the same in Java, except rather than doing a choose, you do what's called a switch. Now, if you don't do any other programming with switch or choose cases in other languages, that doesn't mean anything to you, and that's just fine. So let's just jump into it. Let's just say that you have a scenario where you want to test a specific value, and based on the value of that value, you want some specific code to be executed. So in that case, you can put a switch case. Now I'm just going to get rid of this hello world. Actually, I'm going to implement it maybe a little bit later. But like for example, I will put in the following. I will put in int, and I'm going to put in my age. So we'll put in my age. And let's set that equal to a specific value. So we could say, how about my age is equal to, and I'll put in 39. Now, if I wanted to test this value and execute code based on that value, I could do something like this. I could put in a switch statement and put in the variable or the expression that I want to evaluate. Kind of just like an if statement, if you're familiar with how that works, and you should be by now. So we'll say switch my age. Now, what switch will do is it will evaluate this expression. Now, this expression right now is simply just a variable, but it could be an algebraic expression just like if you were evaluating an if statement. So now I could put in the different cases that this might evaluate too. I can say, how about this case? And we can say, how about 39? Put in a colon, and I will put in, how about this? System.out.println, and rather than hello world, we'll say you are old. And then how about this? We can say case, and we're going to put in just different values in here just for grins. So we'll put in case 49, or how about this? How about case 29? Whoops, sorry about that. Whatever that was. We'll say you are not old. And we're going to play with these values in a little bit. I just want you to get the general gist of this. So let me copy this line of code to here. And that should be it. Let me see if I want to put another line of code in here. And I should be okay. So now, let me run my program. And just before I do that, let me clean up a little bit. And execute my program. And we got a problem here. Now remember, switch cases are in blocks like any other Java code. So let me put in my start block for my switch case, and then let me put in my end block for switch case. There we go. So there's my start block and my end block. All right, so let me execute my program. And we get you are old, you are old. So let me change this to, how about you are young? I think you're going to see that twice because I clicked it twice. But let me change the you are old to you are young, so it's a little less misleading. There we go. Now let's try it. Execute my program. And we get you are old and you are young. Now in this case, notice that we get both messages. We get you are old and you are young. Let me explain to you what's happening here. Once you get the condition that's matched, so my age is evaluated, once it finds the match, it's going to execute that code and then continue to execute all other pieces of code. So here we're going to get both case 39 and case 29. So what we need to do is we need to tell Java to break. That just means break execution and break the actual switch and discontinue after the cases. So in this case, pardon the pun, I'm going to put in break. After the 39 and then break after the 29. So let me execute my program. And we get what we want here. You are old, and we don't get this here. So always use break at the end of each case, because otherwise your output and your code execution will be somewhat misleading. So let me just illustrate. If my age equals 20, and I execute the program, you're going to get you are young. Now, I'm using this example, pardon me, on purpose, because in this case, kind of notice that I have the age which I'm testing, and I'm only testing for 39 and for 20. So it's quite possible that you might not have any of the values actually be reached. Like, for example, if I put in the age of, I don't know, if I put in the age of 70, I can say put in, rather than 20, I can put in the age equals 70. And then I execute, and notice nothing actually gets displayed here because none of these different values are actually being met. In that case, again, pardon the pun, I can put in the default keyword. So after the break for case 20, I can put in something like default. And I can put in how about. Rather than you are young, I will say, I don't know if you're young or old. So let me run this, and before I do so, let me indent that. And let me get some more room. There we go. So now when I run this program, I get the default. So basically, it's not 39. My age is not 39. It's not 20. So default is going to be fired. Now, I'm not trying to show you, a real complex example, but I'm trying to show you exactly how a switch case works. We're doing something simple, such as just displaying something out to the command line. Now, we can do more complex things. For example, we could have a function that gets fired off if the age is 39, or we could have, again, another function that gets fired off if the age is 20. And then we could say, well, if it's not 20 or if it's not 39, what we can do is this. And we probably should have a break between line 15 and 16, just like we do on line 13 for a default. But in this case, we're going to leave it off because we don't need to break, because what's going to happen is, since it's the last keyword of this switch statement, the switch statement is going to stop executing and continue to the next line of code. So in this video, I showed you a very simple Java switch case. Now, you use it if you want to do a flow of control comparison, and you want to execute different pieces of code based on a specific value. So thank you for watching, and I bid you all a very well rest of the day. Thank you.